As the year 2024 comes to a close in the arena of professional wrestling, 2024 was one of their biggest years yet. But with these predictions that I'm going to give to you today right here on the Flex Zone podcast, 2025 could be an even bigger year for World Wrestling Entertainment. 2024, we saw the return of long-term booking. In what a year it was, starting way back in January with Cody Rhodes, starting his road to WrestleMania, winning the Royal Rumble, and finishing his story at WrestleMania 40, defeating the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and ending his record-breaking title reign. We saw The Rock back, transform into the final boss character, whoop Cody's ass, and lead into a story of where it may go in 2025. Will The Rock be taking on Cody? Will he be taking on Roman Reigns? Barely winning the Royal Rumble, streaming at 5:30 in the morning for Elimination Chamber in Australia. All the international B-level pay-per-views, the Saudi shows, the Money in the Bank moments, the introduction of 2 women's mid-card titles, some big-time debuts, some call-ups, and a new shift even down in NXT. I didn't forget about you, NXT lovers, as they move to the CW, and their women's division is out of this world. It's the Flex Zone podcast, ending 24, the best year of the pod ever, and looking forward to 2025 with our WWE predictions. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and super kick that subscribe button. We love you. We need you. We welcome you. We talk about professional wrestling. We stream each pay-per-view for WWE and AEW, and we do weekly episodic live streams and preview each match just heading into the pay-per-view. As always, we got our other content as well. And make sure you tombstone that thumbs up. Leave us a like. It helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. It helps people like yourself find the channel. And it lets them know, hey, the Flex Zone podcast, we do great content. You should know more about them as well. Watch their videos, subscribe, and like the comments that they got. And comment down below. We want to hear from you. What's your predictions for 2025? What are you doing for 2024? How did you feel about it? Let us know how your holiday was. What are you doing for the new year? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. Let us be the first to wish you a Happy New Year here on the Flex Zone podcast. So like, subscribe, and comment down below. As I was doing this list, I just jotted down a few things because I didn't want to make this a 30, 40-minute video because I could really throw out so many things that could happen in 2025. I kind of compiled my list of 15 or 20 down to 10. I'm going to quickly talk about them, give you my 2 cents, and kind of move on to the next thing and leave it to you guys in the comment section and let me know what else you want me to go into if you want more content heading into 2025 with this type of stuff, with predictions, with what's going to happen moving into the next phase of WWE television, because January 6th on Netflix is going to be the start of the road to WrestleMania. Now, I also did take into account not only the main roster, but NXT, as NXT is a part of WWE. And it is, like I said, has had their biggest year in a while, moving to the CW. The women's acquisitions, the talent that they brought in, and some of the stories they're telling with that division have been great. Let's start off with some low-hanging fruit. This one is easy. I think this guy has been the breakout performer on Monday Night Raw, the Rookie of the Year, a guy who has world championship potential, a guy who is clearly on his way to big things. The one, the only, Braun Breaker. Yes, he's on the screen right now because I do have Braun Breaker as your 2025 Mr. Money in the Bank. We all kind of see Braun Breaker heading towards being a world champion in 2025 as the dogs come out of the dark. We know he's going to be a world champion. Now, how does he get there? I think he's a perfect candidate for Mr. Money in the Bank come whenever they do that PLE. Is it going to be in May, June, July? It's probably going to be in July after probably King of the Ring or whatever. But I could see Braun Breaker being Mr. Money in the Bank for 2025. He's been the Rookie of the Year. He's a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. You clearly see he's the next main event guy. And he's going to be the guy that's going to be leading this company for the next decade plus. He's going to be that guy. With the Romans and the Codys getting older and guys like The Rock and having other part-timers and people who are on the come-up, he's the head of that new generation. He's the head of that new age, and he is truly a badass, and he's great in the ring. He's great with the mic, and he's only getting better. And each week you hear more and more dogs barking, people getting behind him. He can play a baby, he can play a heel, he can play a tweener. And I think you can really invest in him. You got matches with Jacob Fatu. You got matches with other top guys, Gunther again. He can still battle Cody. He can go against Roman. He could be a Paul Heyman guy. Clearly, big things are on the horizon in 2025 for Braun Breaker, who I have as your Mr. Money in the Bank 2025. Let's keep it moving. There were reports, we've seen it. And honestly, if I would give big ups to someone this year who's been maybe my male wrestler of the year throughout any promotion doing the best character work, it is this gentleman who I'm about to talk about, who had the feud of the year with CM Punk, who had the match of the year potentially inside of Hell in a Cell. The one and only Scottish psychopath, I still call him that. The one and only man who just re-signed with the company, Drew McIntyre, the bloodline hunter himself. We got to get that You see Drew here in his regalia. I think Drew McIntyre is going to be your King of the Ring on the men's side in 2025. And not only does he win King of the Ring, he goes on to SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, wins a world title. Not sure if it's going to be beating Cody or facing Gunther. We heard about a big 2025 for Drew McIntyre. He re-signed with the company. Obviously, it's well-deserved. And I see Drew McIntyre being Mr. King of the King of the Ring. And I see Drew McIntyre winning a world title at SummerSlam. So Braun Breaker's your Mr. Money in the Bank. And Drew McIntyre is your King of the Ring. Drew McIntyre's had a great 2025, and I can expect even bigger things in 2025 with him being a world champion again and getting a long, dominant reign. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep this train moving. Let's go to the ladies. Let's go down to NXT. I do think these two women will not only have a match at Stand and Deliver, which is their WrestleMania equivalent, happens on the Saturday leading into WrestleMania that afternoon. These two women will have the main event of Stand and Deliver, because the main event seen on NXT on the men's side, it's garbage, but the women are heating things up. I think we will get Julia, who will beat Roxanne Perez at New Year's Evil and become the new women's NXT champion, facing Stephanie Valcour, Valcour will then beat Julia for the NXT Women's Championship, and Stephanie will then have the Women's Championship. This will be your main event for NXT Stand and Deliver. Julia, Stephanie Valcour, Julia. The two big names they bought into this company, they will do battle. You've seen the teases. They're taking it slow. Apparently, there's a language barrier. These two have worked together before. I think under WWE production, management, and booking, it will be fine. They will tell a solid story, and these two women will put on a good show, I think, worthy of an NXT Stand and Deliver main event. And clearly, you can see the focus of the women's division in NXT. I think Roxanne Perez, throwing in more predictions, she will be on the main roster along with Cora Jade. I could see then maybe Zarya winning the NXT North American Championship at Stand and Deliver potentially. And this could be your main event at Stand and Deliver. So I love what they're doing. And wait till all of those women get to the main roster in another year and a half or two. It's going to be even better with the two mid-card titles, the women's main championship and the NXT, or the women's tag team championship still around too. So a lot of titles, but they will have the talent to do so. And speaking of talent coming to NXT, let's keep it with the NXT. Another one I got for you. Ricky Starks. Yes, we've heard his name all year. We've heard the rumors and innuendo. We've seen that WrestleMania 40 with Cody, in the box with Dustin Rhodes. We know WWE wants to bring him in. I think Ricky Starks will debut maybe at Stand and Deliver, but I don't have a specific time frame because apparently his contract maybe runs through the spring. I can see by the end of 2025, Ricky Starks debuting at NXT, on NXT, and being their new top guy, because I think Trick Williams and Obafemi will eventually both be caught up in 2025. Then that will leave a void. Their main event scene is already a little weakened. You bring in a guy like Ricky Starks, has the look, has the charisma, has the ability on the mic and in the ring, and can get over as a heel, as a face, and has just believability. He looks the part, he dresses the part, he lives the gimmick. A little pebble like The Rock. You know, they maybe could tease something with that eventually. And he will be your NXT, maybe even NXT champion by the end of 2025. Let's go that far. He'll be NXT champion by 2025, and he'll debut in NXT as well. But I can see him as your NXT champion by the end of 2025, early 2026, by the time we get to maybe New Year's Evil at the latest. So look for Ricky Starks in WWE. My next one, we know Penta, El Cero Miedo, Pentagon Jr. is headed to WWE. Looks like he's going to debut on the Raw, debut on Netflix, as well as teaming with Rey Mysterio. I think maybe we get a Penta Rey Mysterio WrestleMania match. We know Rey Mysterio is going to be on the card. We know Penta should be on the card if he's debuting in January. That's plenty of time till April to build him up. Maybe he turns heel, go Pentagon Dark. This inevitably leads to a WrestleMania match against Rey Mysterio. Pentagon beats Rey Mysterio. Pentagon is off. He can then inevitably by the end of the year, hopefully, because Rey Fenix still has more time added onto his contract through the spring and summer. Maybe we get by the end of the year, like we got with the Motor City Machine Guns this year, because I originally think the Motor City Machine Guns storyline was going to be the Lucha Brothers. Now I think inevitably we'll get Penta with Rey. Penta turns on Rey. Penta beats Rey at Mania. Then by the end of the year, Penta recruits his brother, Rey Fenix, to WWE. They go to the main roster, probably on the Raw brand, and they will inevitably be your top team heading into 2026 on the Raw brand, probably maybe even tag team champions. If we can get Rey Fenix in there by, I don't know, SummerSlam, they could be tag team champions by the end of 2025. So we could have Ricky Starks as your NXT champion. We could have Stephanie Valkyria, your NXT Women's Champion. We could have Lucha Brothers as your tag team champions on the Raw brand if they're going to keep two sets of titles. And what about the dream matches they could have together? But I think Rey Fenix does inevitably join his brother, and I think we get that in 2025 and maybe even tag team champions by early 2026, like I said, with Ricky Starks and NXT brand. Tag team wrestling is very, very important, and this team hasn't won the tag team championships in going on 4 years since 2020. And I'm showing this NXT picture because I fell in love with the Street Profits at NXT. They were fun, they were cool, they had the look, they had the in-ring ability. Montez looked like he could be a superstar in any given promotion. Angelo Dawkins has gotten so much better. He looks good, so we don't want to Jannetty him. I think I like the more serious Street Profits. We can see WWE is tempting to give them a push, but it's like once they get to the altar, they kind of deny them right there. They get leapfrogged by the Motor City Machine Guns. Then DIY wins the titles back. The Street Profits are just kind of in the midst of start-stop pushes. They are more serious. B-Fab is decent in the ring. Maybe we see more of her in 2025, maybe building her up as someone in the women's division. They could use her. She's not bad. Got a lot better, apparently training with Natalya. But I think the Street Profits will win tag team gold at some point in 2025. I don't know if they're going to move back to Raw with this transfer window. They're going to stay on SmackDown. I assume they stay on SmackDown. Now, I think inevitably we get maybe a three-way tag team match with the Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns. Are they able to build this up until Mania? I don't know if it has 4 months of juice left. Maybe they can build it up until I don't know. Could they tease this out to the Rumble? They got Cody and Kevin ladder match. The 2 Rumble matches, that's 3 matches. Maybe you could do a 3-way tag team match. Get the tag team championships as one of your middle of the show matches. A triple threat tag team match. Put the tag team titles on a PLE since it's only on WrestleMania and hasn't been on there since. Or maybe Saturday Night's Main Event. You need big matches for that coming up in a couple of weeks, the week before the Rumble, so they can do it there. But I think the Street Profits should be tag team champions in 2025. And I think we could inevitably see them maybe even split up if it doesn't go right by the end of the year. Because at this point, if you're not going to do it, let them get the tag titles. Let them get the tag titles, or just get rid of them and split them up. Put one on the other show and put one on another show. Let's get back to the ladies. Speaking of NXT, this lady was in NXT, but she will not only debut in the Royal Rumble, she will go straight to the main roster. And I think, if not at WrestleMania, because I don't know what Rhea's going to be doing at WrestleMania, because I think she wins the belt back. I think at some point in 2025, we will get this dream match of the 2 friends posing here for Rhea's title, Rhea Ripley and Jordynne Grace, who's on her way to WWE. That will be a opponent for Rhea for her title. That will probably be a main event at a PLE potentially. That will be a big-time match for the women's division in 2025. Rhea Ripley, Jordynne Grace. If I had the pin, I may have Jordynne Grace come in, win the Women's Royal Rumble, and maybe even just have her go against Rhea. Now, I wouldn't probably have her win it, maybe tell a long-term story, but Jordynne Grace is the real deal. The Juggernaut, not Juggernaut 097, who's a friend and contributed to this here podcast, but you got to love what you've seen from Jordynne Grace in TNA if you're familiar with her work. She seems to be on her way out. She's going to put Tessa Blanchard over on the way out. She's great to work with. Everyone loves her backstage. She has the look. Her husband, Jonathan Gresham, could be on his way to NXT as well. That's another prediction you can add in there. I'm giving you more than 10. But Jordynne Grace, Rhea Ripley, Jordynne Grace, that will be a main event match. Maybe at SummerSlam. And maybe at SummerSlam. Maybe if they want to have Rhea keep it till SummerSlam, she wins it in January. She keeps it until August, maybe the middle of the year. So they want to give somebody to drop it to, give Jordynne Grace the Rocket Pack, have her look good all year, give her 7-8 months of strong booking. You have her go in there and beat Rhea if you want. Or you could have Rhea win, and then you could have Jordynne build herself back up, maybe beat Rhea at a Mania or something. I don't know. There's a lot of ways they can go with it, but I think you will see this match at some point in 2025. We're going to need marquee women's matches. We have a lot of championships, but the story they could tell, the brute powerhouse ability of the 2 women, man, this could be a feud that we've been wanting in the women's division, a dream match. Some of the dream matches we still have left. especially when it comes to WWE and their win. So that's another one as well. Let's warm up a little bit. Let's get to Cena, the elephant in the room. We know he's going to be back. The more I think on it, don't know if he's going to go against Cody at Mania. Don't think I would do that. Maybe save Gunther and Cena for SummerSlam. I think Cena's going to get 17. I feel like you look at AEW, Daniel Bryan got it, even though he didn't want it. Cena may not want it, but I could see them giving it to giving it to Cena one last run, whether that's the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. I could see Cena having another match with Orton, another match with Punk, a match with Cody, a match with LA Knight. You want to put him back in the ring, like I said, against a Gunther. You want to put him against, I don't know, Bo Dallas, I've heard, Chad Gable. You want to put him in there, I don't know, against Nakamura again. I don't know. There are a lot of people that Cena could face. Braun Breaker. How could I forget that? Goldberg, even though I don't want to see that. I don't really have a Goldberg image up, but Goldberg will get, I think, multiple matches in 2025 in WWE. WWE doesn't just tease stuff with people in the crowd, people getting called out, people coming to blows almost. I think we'll get that Goldberg-Gunther match maybe at the Rumble or maybe, I don't know, some point in 2025. But I think John Cena will win 17, and I also think Goldberg will have multiple matches as he retires in 2025. Maybe at least 2 or 3. That would be cool. You can get him against Braun Breaker, you can get him against Gunther, you can get him in there against whomever. But I think Cena, the American hero against the foreign villain Gunther, just writes itself. It's old school. It's lovely. And I think we could see Cena win 17. I think it's going to happen. I just think one way or the other, we're going to get Cena winning 17. I don't see why it wouldn't happen because I just feel like it's so much money in that. It's money in that. And they're going to do that even if he only wins it for a brief time. And my last one I think I have right now is Randy Orton. He will not only return at the Royal Rumble to help Cody defeat Kevin Owens, and I think he will face Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. They're each other's WrestleMania dance partners. Obviously, they didn't do the match in Saudi. We'll get Randy Orton winning championship number 15. Cena will get 17, and Orton will get 15. That is my prediction. I think Orton he's been gone. He was gone for a while. He's gone again. I think he's lost a lot on pay-per-view. He deserves his flowers. You know, Triple H, his boy, is going to look out for him. Does he beat maybe Kevin at Mania? And then this leads to maybe Orton eventually turning heel, then maybe beating Cody at SummerSlam and taking the title from Cody. That is your SummerSlam main event on one of the nights. Orton, Cody, Orton. That is a feud that writes itself. The friendship, the history, the rivalry, the legacy faction, the out of the ring real life friendship, the story and heel turn that could come if Orton does bring back the punt kick against Kevin Owens. Maybe this could lead to Orton joining and aligning with Owens. Maybe Orton, Owens, Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. The Sword, I've heard them aligning themselves as a big major heel faction. Orton, I could see winning 15, and I think he's going to get 15 2025. Others who could also be world champions, speaking of Orton, I said Finn Balor could maybe get a big push in 2025. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as to say world champion, but it could happen. He could even be a Mr. Money in the Bank or King of the Ring candidate himself. I think Finn Balor's a guy. I think a guy like Chad Gable deserves a better push. Maybe can we get Chad Gable? It looks like in his American made over to SmackDown. I think we can get the Creeds as well as Ivy Nile with gold. Ivy Nile Women's U.S. Champion, Chad Gable U.S. Champion, and the Creeds as tag team champions. You add the Creeds to the Street Profits, to the Motor City Machine Guns, to Los Garza, to DIY, to Pretty Deadly, to whomever else you want to throw in there, maybe call up Fraxium. That would be a loaded SmackDown division. And Raw, you maybe had the Lucha Brothers, you got the War Raiders. You could just combine these divisions. And a lot of people have said it, I'm not the only one. It needs to be one set of titles for the tag teams. Let it float between both shows. Put these teams in meaningful storylines. You're going to have about 8 to 10 teams there. You got the New Day now on Raw. You got the War Raiders, like I said. You got Motor City Machine Guns. You have teams, DIY, the Street Profits, Los Garzas. You call up Fraxium. You got 7 or 8 teams right there. Alpha Academy with the Creeds. And let's not forget the Wyatts even. So there are a lot of ways they can go with this tag team division. And apparently there's going to be more of a focus in 2025. I've heard this year in, year out for the last 10 years. I hope they stay true to it. And maybe, I don't think we will get a unification. We'll hopefully get the titles booked strongly on each shows. And having the tag teams who aren't in the tag team picture for the titles in meaningful storylines. The same with the women. We got all these women's mid-card titles and tag team titles and world titles. Let's put women in meaningful storylines that don't have to be for the championship either. Because everyone's not going to be a champion. And as the more championships you introduce, I say this all the time with AEW, the more diluted and more valueless the actual titles indeed do become. And inevitably, like I always say, I made it to over 20 minutes on this video. But if you made it this, make sure you sign off in the comment section down below. It helps us in the algorithm. Let me know what you did for Christmas, what you doing for New Year's, your wrestler of the year for 2025. WWE, it's probably Drew McIntyre for me. Women, I may have to go Liv Morgan, just for her character work alone. Maybe Liv Morgan, but we'll see. I think we'll get the Jade and Bianca WrestleMania match. I think we'll get, like I said, a lot of different things that we've all been forecasting. I don't know who wins the Men's Rumble. I think January 6th on Netflix, the World of WrestleMania starts. We'll get a lot of the answers there. What is Cody doing? What is The Rock doing? What is Roman doing? And what is CM Punk doing? CM Punk and Seth Rollins, that will be a multi-match series, ladies and gentlemen. There will be at least 3 matches between those two men starting on Netflix and somehow culminating in 2025. There'll be at least a 3-match series there. Punk and Drew, there will now be Punk and Rollins doing their best to see how their feud can indeed go. But if you made it this far, super kick that subscribe button. Go ahead, suplex it. Go ahead, let me know how you're feeling. Like or bomb that like button. Tombstone that thumbs up. It helps us out when you leave us a like. And it costs you nothing in the world, everything is so expensive. Hit the bell, let you know when all of our content drops. We stream every WWE pay-per-view. We do content like this. We do previews for each pay-per-view match where I break each match down individually, how I will book it, and how I predict it going. And as always, we do weekly content. We have a flagship podcast. We do AEW on Wednesdays and SmackDown on Fridays. And we'll be live for the first Raw on Netflix, January 6th, 2025. Can you believe it? We made it to another year. 2024 was great for WWE, and they're on fire. 2025 will be even bigger. Best believe it. In the Flex Zone, we keep getting bigger and better as well. Thank you for watching. Let me know your predictions down in the comment section. Subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for watching my WWE predictions for 2025.